the irregular at Magic High School. Welcome back to AniRecapz. Like and subscribe so you never miss our quality uploads. This story begins with an introduction narrated by Tatsuya explaining the beginning of modern magic World War III, the important role magicians played in preventing an escalation to a thermonuclear war, and the current magical arms race. A younger Tatsuya and Miyuki are seen during the Okinawa Defense Naval Battle, and Tatsuya is shown using material burst. Before the opening ceremony, Miyuki complains about Tatsuya not being Course 1 student. After reprimanding her, MC reminds her that practical magic skills are more important than written tests, and that he would not be chosen to become a Course 1 even if she refuses the position of freshman representative, which she agrees. Miyuki leaves for the rehearsal after being encouraged by Tatsuya. Tatsuya runs into Segusa Mayume, who seems to be interested in him despite his status as a Course 2 student, and they introduce themselves. Nakaju Azusa comes to get Mayumi, and Tatsuya excuses himself. In the auditorium, Tatsuya notices the clear divide between Course 1 and Course 2 students. After sitting down, Tatsuya meets Shibata Mizuki and Shiba Erika. After the ceremony, Tatsuya talks with Mizuki and Erika while waiting for his sister. After Mizuki correctly guesses that the freshman representative is Tatsuya's sister, due to their similar auras, Tatsuya realizes that Mizuki has oversensitivity to spirit particle emission. Tatsuya also becomes concerned that she might see his secret. Miyuki is finally able to excuse herself from a group of Course 1 students and asks Tatsuya whether he is already dating his classmates, although he scolds her about the assumption. Erika and especially Mizuki become flustered after witnessing Tatsuya and Miyuki acting a little too intimate for siblings. At home, Miyuki admits that she just received a call from Shiba Tatsuru and Shiba Sayuri and asks whether Tatsuya received any word from them, to which he responds that he did not. While Miyuki becomes upset over the fact that their parents refuse to acknowledge him, her magic begins to run wild and freeze the kitchen. Tatsuya manages to calm her down and explains that it is only natural to not receive any contact, as he did refuse to go straight to work at his father's company, and that just the fact that he is wanted there could be considered acknowledgement. The next morning, Tatsuya and Miyuki travel. Tatsuya runs while Miyuki is on skates, and both are using magic, to a ninja dojo where Tatsuya is immediately assaulted by the disciples, a part of his daily morning training. Meanwhile, Kokono Yakumo sneaks up on Miyuki and becomes overly excited about her Mo uniform. As Miyuki becomes more and more uncomfortable, Yakumo is assaulted by Tatsuya from behind, who has taken out all the disciples. During their confrontation, Yakumo comments that in a strict taijutsu fight, he doesn't stand a chance and begins using magic to deflect Tatsuya's attacks. Later, Tatsuya is seen panting on the ground. Miyuki kneels down, during which her uniform gets dirty, and gives Tatsuya a towel. When Tatsuya apologizes for getting her skirt dirty, she deflects his concern. As they stand up, she pulls out a CAD and cleans up both of their clothes with magic. Miyuki asks Tatsuya for breakfast and invites Yakumo to join them. Later, Tatsuya is seen in class, with Mizuki and Erika, typing on the keyboard for his desk's terminal. Watching the scene, Seiju Leonhard starts talking with Tatsuya and they make the acquaintance. Leo then immediately gets into an argument with Erika after calling her a dude. Yoshida Makihiko observes them in the background. The bell rings and Ona Haruka, the counselor, comes in, much to the surprise of the students, as teachers taking theory classes is unusual due to the overall modernization of education. At lunchtime, Mizuki, Erika, and Leo sits with Tatsuya. Erika and Leo fall into another argument when Miyuki interrupts and asks to join them. A group of Course 1 students attempt to stop her while belittling the Course 2 students. To avoid an argument, Tatsuya tells Miyuki that he is done and leaves. After school, Miyuki's wish to return home with her brother is not respected by her classmates, who wish to keep her away from the weeds, leading to an argument between Erika, Leo, and Mizuki, and the Course 1 students. After Mizuki asks how much better the Course 1 students think they are considering the classes just began, Morisaki Shun draws a CAD while Leo charges towards him. However, before Morisaki can finish casting, Erika knocks his CAD out of his hand with her baton. Several other male students begin to cast magic, and Mitsui Hanoka tries to stop them and begins to cast her own magic. After Tatsuya reads Hanoka's activation sequence, he assures Miyuki that there is no need for him to stop her. Her magic, however, is stopped by Mayumi, who arrives with Watanabe Mary, the head of the disciplinary committee. Tatsuya lies to Mary, telling her that the Morisaki family's quick draw is famous and he simply wanted a demonstration, but that it was so realistic that he couldn't help himself in responding. He also tells them the female student's spell was a flash spell with suppressed power, revealing to them that he can read activation sequences in real time. Later, Tatsuya contemplates that despite being considered an elite for entering Magic High School, as soon as you enroll, you are considered either an honor student or a regular. The next morning, Mayumi invites Tatsuya and Miyuki to the student council room for lunch. There, Mayumi and Mary introduce the pair to Azusa and Suzune. Mayumi, Azusa, and Suzune are all members of the student council, while Mary is the chairman of the Public Morals Committee. Miyuki accepts an invitation to join the student council. When she brings up her brother, the others inform her that Course 2 students are forbidden from joining the student council. Mary, however, invites Tatsuya to the Public Morals Committee. Though Tatsuya protests, he is asked to discuss the matter further after school. In class, Tatsuya discusses his invitation to the committee with his friends. They are practicing using magic to move a cart back and forth. Even among Course 2 students, Tatsuya is slow. Partly due to this, he plans to decline the invitation. After school, Tatsuya and Miyuki enter the student council room again. The last member of the council, Vice President Hattori, introduces himself to Miyuki, but completely ignores Tatsuya. When Mary invites Tatsuya to tour the public committee headquarters, Hattori interferes and protests Tatsuya's invitation to the committee. After Miyuki speaks up to defend him, Tatsuya challenges Hattori to a duel. The duel is arbitrated by Mary and witnessed by the student council members. Due to Tatsuya's weak practical skills, Hattori plans to complete his spell before Tatsuya and knock him unconscious with a movement-type spell. However, once the duel starts, Tatsuya quickly moves behind Hattori and takes him out. Everyone was shocked that Tatsuya defeated Hanzu so quickly. It is revealed that he used physical abilities from his ninjutsu training and used a basic oscillation-type spell, Compound Waves, that causes a hallucinogenic effect, blah 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 blah, processing in its execution to knock Hanzu down. He concluded that the school's entrance practical exam can evaluate Tatsuya's true ability properly because multivariable isn't one of its grading criteria. After regaining consciousness, Hanzu properly apologized to Miyuki. However, he leaves the room without a word to Tatsuya, feeling bitter over his quick defeat. Tatsuya officially becomes a member of the Public Moral Committee after everyone saw his skills. In the Public Moral Committee headquarters, Tatsuya is introduced to Tatsumi Kotaro and Sawaki Midori. The next day, Tatsuya and Morisaki, who caused trouble with Tatsuya and his friends during the first day, were introduced to the whole committee and do a briefing to do a normal patrol during the club recruitment day. Morisaki still shows his resentment towards Tatsuya as a weed before he leaves to patrol. In the middle of the patrol, Tatsuya helped Erika, who was swarmed by many school club member recruiters. And then both of them went to the school's gym and witnessed a quarrel between the Kendo Club and the Kenjutsu Club. Mibu Sayaka of Kendo Club and Kirihara Tadaaki of Kenjutsu Club had a duel which is won by Mibu. However, Kirihara, who didn't accept his defeat, activated the spell Sonic Blade to attack Mibu, which causes Tatsuya to stop him using counter magic using 2 CAD at once and immobilized him. Because they can't accept the fact that Tatsuya, a weed, is a member of the Public Moral Committee and taking custody of Kirihara, the Kenjutsu Club members attack MC at once. Even some of them use magic, although Tatsuya dodged their attacks effortlessly and dismantled their magic instantly. On the other hand, the captain of the Kendo Club, Tsukasa Kino, is impressed by Tatsuya's skills. Shiba Tatsuya gives a report on the incident with the Kendo and Kenjutsu clubs to Watanabe Mary, Segusa Mayui, and Jumonji Katsudo. Tatsuya states he didn't see who had started it. As Kirihara Takeaki was repentant, Tatsuya decided no further measures were needed and let the health committee take him. Satisfied, Mary leaves the incident in Katsudo's hands. They ask if others used magic, but Tatsuya says they didn't, not mentioning he was canceling it out. Tatsuya meets up with Shiba Miyuki, Seiju Leonhard, Chiba Erika, and Shibata Mizuki after school, and treats them at Einbreis as an apology for taking so long. There they discuss the incident and Miyuki makes it clear she's confident in Tatsuya's combat prowess and goes on to mention MC is an expert in counter magic. They start acting like a couple, and when Leo comments on it, Miyuki takes it further to tease the group. Leo brings up the cast jamming and Mizuki comments you need Anti-Night to use it normally. MC reveals he used an imitation of cast jamming that uses the interference caused by when two CADs being used at once to block magic of the same type. Leo asks why it needs to be off the record, so MC explains the implications of anti-night free cast jamming are too great to risk revealing it, though Miyuki counters by saying he's worrying too much, as the ability to identify the opponent's spell is needed, which is almost impossible for others. On the fourth day of the recruitment week, Tatsuya is working when he gets a call that there is an incident at the gymnasium, but he is attacked by an unidentified man who escapes with magic. At the end of the week, Tatsuya is glad it's over, and Leo comments Tatsuya has built a reputation after the incident with Kirihara. Miyuki visits the class and they walk to the student council. En route, Mibu Sayaka asks to speak with Tatsuya and they agree to meet in the cafe. Tatsuya says he'll be in the library and Miyuki asks about Sayaka. Tatsuya dismisses it as a club invitation, but Miyuki reveals she is concerned about why Sayaka wants to speak to Tatsuya, thinking it's more as now Tatsuya has a reputation others will want to use him. Tatsuya assures her she'll be careful. Tatsuya meets with Sayaka in the cafe. She thanked him for his actions in the incident, which helped to defuse the situation. Sayaka goes on to say people are trying to use the incident for their own ends, like the disciplinary committee members trying to score points. MC states he's a committee member and apologizes. Sayaka quickly says she didn't mean him and gets flustered. Tatsuya asks her directly what she wants and Sayaka asks him to join the kendo club. Tatsuya declines and asks why she wants to recruit him. Sayaka brings up the discrimination against Course 2 students and how she hates everything being denied due to practical scores. She then politely requests Tatsuya a plan to form a new group to bring their complaints to the school. Tatsuya makes a passing comment she's not just a pretty girl, embarrassing Sayaka, before asking what they plan to do after taking their complaints to the school. Tatsuya's question surprises Sayaka. During lunch the next day, Mary asks about the events in the cafe as there are rumors that Tatsuya was flirting with Sayaka. But Tatsuya objects to her choice of words, and when she says he's the only one who treats her like a lady, Tatsuya counters by criticizing Mary's boyfriend, flustering her much to Mayumi's amusement. Mary returns to the topic of Sayaka and says she has witnesses that confirm Sayaka was bright red and embarrassed. Miyuki's magic leaks upon hearing this, freezing everyone's lunch in seconds, and Tatsuya quickly assures her it's a misunderstanding. He explains what they discussed, and Mary says that the Public Morals Committee is honorary, so there are no points to be scored. Mayumi mentions that someone seems to be manipulating people's opinions against the school, leading Tatsuya to ask if it's Blanche. This shocks Mary and Mayumi as it's classified information. Tatsuya expresses his dissatisfaction with the government's handling of the situation, and Mayumi agrees as despite there being an anti-magic organization, it's being kept secret. Tatsuya then comforts Mayumi, saying it's not her fault. This makes Mayumi blush. And Mary comments Tatsuya's ability to drive her to the brink and follow through on his own makes him quite the gigolo. Miyuki's magic leaks again upon hearing this. Mary asks how Tatsuya plans to deal with Sayaka, and he says he's waiting on a response and will decide after hearing it. Later on, Tatsuya is called in to speak with the counselor, Ono Haruka. She greets him, and when she tried to fluster Tatsuya, he criticizes her attire, pointing out it goes against the modern dress code. Haruka asks him to participate in ongoing counseling as part of the 10% of freshmen monitored to allow the school to get a grasp of the year's psychological tendencies. Tatsuya agrees and Haruka begins her assessment. At the end of the appointment, Haruka asks if Tatsuya was really asked out by Sayaka. He states no but asks where she heard that from, but Haruka cannot answer. That night, Tatsuya shows Miyuki some intelligence about Blanche. He tells her they are really a terrorist organization. He reveals he saw a member of Eagle Light, a subordinate organization at the school. Tatsuya goes on to explain that on the surface, Blanche doesn't reject magic and is against discrimination, focusing on the median income, which is an unfair metric to use due to being skewed by a small number of people with critical skills. Tatsuya points out those struggling at first high can easily be swayed by ideals of equality, ignoring the price paid by those at the top. Tatsuya points out that had he not had the unique ability that copies others, he too might be swayed by such talk. Tatsuya concludes that behind it all is a group aiming to eradicate magic from Japan. The siblings agree they must act or the 10 master clans will. Tatsuya reassures Miyuki he'll handle it before that happens. Mizuki comments that if he was good at practical skills, he would be too perfect and seem unapproachable. She tells him he can activate faster during actual combat as she saw him discard his magic sequence and rebuilding it in an instant. Tatsuya confirms it, commenting she indeed has good eyes and explains that at the basic single system level, it's possible to activate faster by directly constructing a magic sequence. Hearing his interest in magic is not for combat, Mizuki gets inspired and comments she originally started studying just to learn to control her eyes, and didn't think if she wanted to do something with magic in the future, but now will think about her future. As she keeps getting excited, Chiba Erika interrupts her, making Mizuki realize she was loud and gets embarrassed. Tatsuya meets with Miyu Sayaka, who gives him her answer, stating that they want better treatment from the school. Tatsuya comments that the biggest difference is the availability of teachers, and if Sayaka wants the school to hire more teachers, but she denies it. He comments that her kendo club gets the same amount of time to use the gymnasium as the kenjutsu club and wonders what exactly they want. Tatsuya then explains he doesn't really want school to change much and is fine with being able to get hold of classified documents and graduate from Magic High School. Having different principles, he stands and leaves. Later, using the school radio broadcasting system, a group of students calling themselves the Sympathizer Alliance had taken over the broadcasting room and wanted to abolish discrimination in the school. The student council gathers at the broadcasting room door, and Jumanji Katsudo states that he is ready to listen. Tatsuya then calls Sayaka, who explains she is also in the broadcasting room. He tells her that the student council is ready to negotiate and guarantees her freedom. As he hangs up, he tells the rest to prepare to restrain the other students, as he only guaranteed Sayaka's freedom. They end up restraining the other students, but Sagusa Mayumi tells them to release them, explaining they are not going to run away, and calls Sayaka to come with her and discuss the details of the upcoming negotiation. The next day, Tatsuya speaks with Mayumi, who explains that Sayaka wants better treatment but doesn't know how to accomplish that and feels like she wants the student council to find a way. After that, there was a heated discussion, and in the end, they decided to hold a public debate tomorrow, with only Mayumi participating from the student council. Tatsuya later sees a man that previously attacked him and is a member of Blanche to speak with Mizuki. As he chases him away, Mizuki explains that he is the captain of the kendo club, Tsukasa Kino, and had similar hypersensitive eyes. That evening, MC and Miyuki visit Kokono Yakumo, who explains the ancestry of Kino and his connection to Blanche due to his brother Tsukasa Hagimo. During the public debate, Mayumi easily defeats her opponents and speaks of how the student council is trying to abolish discrimination. She tells them that when she steps down, she wants to change a rule that prevents second-course students from being in the student council. She ends up being supported by everyone, but at that moment, multiple explosions occur outside. Terrorists try rushing the debate hall, but the student council deal with them. Tatsuya decides to go and check the practical skills building where the explosion happened, and Miyuki decides to go with him. Tatsuya and Miyuki reach the practical skills building and assist Leonhard and Erika. Ono Haruka shows up and tells them that practical skills building is a diversion and they are aiming for the library, but refuses to explain how she knows that. She tells Tatsuya that Sayaka is there and to give her another chance, but Tatsuya refuses and indirectly tells Haruka that her unnecessary compassion won't hurt just her. Heading towards the library, they see students fighting the terrorists and Leonhard decides to join the fight, while Tatsuya and the rest continue towards the library. Reaching it, Tatsuya scans the location of the enemy and reveals their position. Erika goes and takes the enemy on the first floor, while Tatsuya and Miyuki continue towards the 4 enemies at the special browsing room on the second floor. Inside the browsing room, Sayaka wonders why they need the newest magic research, while all she wanted is to abolish discrimination in school. The terrorist manages to get access and start copying information, but Tatsuya and Miyuki break the door and Tatsuya destroys their device. Tatsuya tells Sayaka that a world where everyone is treated equally doesn't exist and that she was used. She tells him that he must have been compared to his sister, insulted and looked down upon. Miyuki states that she doesn't despise her brother, and no matter what others think or say, that won't change. Miyuki says no one acknowledged Sayaka's abilities, but that wasn't her only benchmark as MC noticed her sword skills and her beauty. In the end, the one who hated her the most for being a weed is herself. Sayaka is shocked by the realization. The terrorists tell her to use her ring, which creates caste jamming, but Tatsuya easily defeats them like taking candy from a kid. Sayaka then runs, however. MC tells Miyuki to leave her as Erika is covering the exit. Sayaka ends up facing Erika, who recognizes her for placing second in Kendo tournament 2 years ago. Erika decides to fight her. Seeing the self-acceleration ability of Erika, Sayaka is reminded of Watanabe and uses the ring to cast jamming. Erika still breaks her weapon and gives Sayaka a katana. Sayaka then throws away the ring and takes the katana, telling Erika she will defeat her with her own strength. Erika comments her technique is a bit different from Watanabe's. In an instant, Erika defeats Sayaka, fracturing some of her ribs. She congratulates her, explaining she is from Chiba family and had to go all out on her. Erika comments that Watanabe Mary is their pupil, but Erika holds a higher level of certification than her. A moment later, Sayaka loses consciousness. A bit later, the Public Morals Committee confronts Tsukasa Kino, stating they know everything. He attempts to run, but is easily caught. Sayaka explains the Kendo Club captain Kino had been convincing them to get rid of magic-based discrimination. Due to being discriminated soon after entering the school, she got lost in Kino's words. MC asks her about the incident and Sayaka explains that she was awed by Mary's magic skills and wanted to practice with her. But Mary was cold and told her to find someone of her skill level. Mary remembers the situation, but explains she didn't mean that. With magic, Mary believes she was better, but by pure kendo skills, she was no match for Sayaka, so she meant Sayaka to find someone stronger for practice. Sayaka realizes she misunderstood it and feels she wasted a year due to a grudge, but Tatsuya comments she didn't waste a year. As Erika stated, she became stronger and polished her skills. Tatsuya wonders about the remaining Blanche members, commenting that he can't let the police as that would mean turning Sayaka in for attempted robbery, and that he will destroy anyone trying to harm him and his sister. He doesn't intend to get the student council involved, but Miyuki, Erika, and Leonhard decide to join him. Tatsuya then opens the door, revealing that Ono Haruka was listening and asks her to give Blanche's location. Learning the location, Jumanji Katsudo decides to join them. He goes to prepare a car and Kirihara Takeaki, who had secretly listened to their conversation with Sayaka, asks Katsudo if he can join them. Katsudo declines at first, wanting to know his actual reason, and Takeaki reveals he loved Sayaka's swordsmanship, but at some point, her intentions got muddled. As Tatsuya and the others speed along in their car toward the enemy stronghold, Katsudo asks him to take charge since the operation is his idea. He orders Leo and Erika to secure their retreat and deal with any escaping enemies, whilst he and Miyuki take the front and Katsudo enters from the rear exit with Kirihara. As they arrive, Leo uses his fortification magic to reinforce the car, and they ram through it into the compound. Inside, Tatsuya and Miyuki slowly advance until they reach a large room where they are confronted by Blanche's leader Tsukasa Hajime and a number of armed men waiting in ambush. Hajime introduced himself as the leader of the Japanese branch. Tatsuya advises that they surrender. Hajime laughs it off and tries to recruit Tatsuya for his anti-night free pseudo-cast jamming and uses magic to try and hypnotize him into defecting using Evil Eye. Tatsuya calls out his use of hypnotism and asks if it's what he used to replace Sayaka's memories. Realizing his attempt failed, Hajime orders his men to fire, but Tatsuya disassembles all their guns at once with magic. Seeing this, Hajime flees, and Miyuki has Tatsuya pursue while she deals with the disarmed terrorists. One of the terrorists pulls a knife and tries to stab Tatsuya in the back, but is frozen by Miyuki before he can strike, before freezing all of the men at once with Niflheim. Meanwhile, Jumanji is using the phalanx to advance under enemy fire so that Kirihara can get close enough to take the terrorists down in close combat whilst ensuring Kirihara doesn't go too far and kill them. Tatsuya pursues Hajime where he is waiting with another ambush. MC uses his elemental sight to disarm all the terrorists. Hajime and some of his men use anti-night to use cast jamming on Tatsuya. The sheer amount of anti-night, a rare military resource, tips Tatsuya off that Hajime is being supplied by Ukraine-Belarus and backed by the Great Asian Union. Hearing this deduction, Hajime orders his men to kill Tatsuya, but the cast jamming doesn't work on him, and he uses partial decomposition to neutralize all the terrorists. Hajime backs off, demanding to know why Tatsuya can still use magic when Kirihara cuts through the reinforced door behind him. Hearing Hajime is the leader of the terrorists, Kirihara is enraged and cuts off his arm with the anti-night bracelet, but is stopped by Katsudo before he kills Hajime. Jumanji stops Hajime's bleeding and asks Tatsuya if that's all of them, and he confirms it should be. Later on, the police arrive and arrest the terrorists. Erika and Leo bicker about being left on the sidelines when Tatsuya emerged from inside and Miyuki rushes up to him to check Kizak. She is about to confess something but is stopped by Tatsuya, who says it's fine, and she thanks him. Tatsuya visits Sayaka in the hospital, and they discuss how she and Tsukasa Kino are hospitalized due to having their memories altered. Tatsuya informs her the other students won't be punished for their involvement because of this, especially since the school wants to keep it quiet. Tatsuya asks when she'll be discharged and asks her to inform him, and he'll come to visit again then. As he leaves, Tatsuya meets with Hayama Tadanori in the corridor. That night, Hayama reports to Yotsuba Maya that Tatsuya was only acting within his role as a guardian in this incident. On the 10th of May, Sayaka is discharged and the Shiba siblings come to visit her for her release. There they find Cheese with Kirihara, and Erika informs them that he's been visiting every day. The three head over to speak with Sayaka, and her father asks to speak with Tatsuya. He thanks Tatsuya for helping his daughter even when he couldn't. Mibu lets slip he heard of him from Kazama Harunobu, an old army buddy, and assures MC what he's heard will stay confidential. Tatsuya returns to the other, and when Sayaka asks what her father wanted, Tatsuya brushes it off by saying they have a mutual acquaintance. Erika uses this as an excuse to ask Sayaka why she jumped ship to Kirihara rather than Tatsuya. Sayaka confesses she did like MC for his unwavering strength, but she felt she'd never be able to catch up with him. But Kirihara is someone she could stand beside. Eric moves on to try and tease Kirihara, asking him how long he's liked Sayaka. Kirihara tries to change the subject, but Tatsuya jumps in and comments, all that matters is how smitten Sayaka Kirihara is, and mentions how Kirihara looked so gallant cutting down Blanche's leader that Tatsuya knows he can never compete. Kirihara swears Tatsuya to secrecy, and while he and Erika mess around, Tatsuya signals Miyuki and the pair leave. As they walk down the street, Miyuki tells Tatsuya she will remain by his side no matter what happens. Tatsuya counters by saying she'll be the one leaving him behind. Tatsuya heads back to school to avoid missing the practical lesson, which leads Miyuki to ask if he's happy going to school when he doesn't need to all for her. Tatsuya tells Miyuki he's happy because he can go to school with her, and the pair walk hand in hand as they return to school. On the 16th of May, at 3rd High, Ichiju Masaki is training when Kichijuji Shinkaru tells him about the terrorist attack on 1st High. Masaki is confident the students at 1st High will be fine, though the terrorists won't, as there are direct descendants from the Jumanji and Sekisa families, as well as many talented students there. Kichijuji comments that even if that's the case, none compare to Masaki, the Crimson Prince. It's the 12th of July and Tatsuya and Miyuki are at Kokano Temple, where Miyuki is training with Kokano Yakumo for Mirage Bat, the 9 schools competition. Kokano is making balls of light in the air for her to target. Suddenly, Tatsuya senses a presence and challenges an interloper, who is revealed to be Ono Haruka. She exchanges pleasantries with Yakumo. Tatsuya is initially on guard until Yakumo vouches for her, stating she is one of his students. Haruka asks if Miyuki is participating in the 9 schools competition, and Yakumo confirms she is competing in both Ice Pillars Break and Mirage Bat. Tatsuya reiterates his question, and Yakumo informs the Shiba siblings that Haruka also works as a public safety investigator. She confirms this and that she is a junior disciple of Yakumo's. Tatsuya comments her concealment magic was impressive, and he concludes she is a BS magician. At school, Tatsuya's class dominates their opponents in physical education class. The girls have come to watch the match and cheer. After the match, Tatsuya and Leo go over to speak with their classmate Yoshida Mikihiko. The three make introductions, having not really spoken before, and Mikihiko admits he'd been meaning to speak to the pair. Erika joins the trio, along with Mizuki, and reveals she and Mikihiko are childhood friends. Erika's immodest choice of attire flusters Mikihiko, leading Leo to make a remark which angers her and earns him a kick. At lunch, the Shiba siblings join Mayumi, Mary, Suzune, and Azusa in the student council room. There they discuss the 9 schools competition over lunch. As the school's honor is on the line, the student council takes the lead in the preparations, choosing the contestants based on merit. Mayumi comments that though they have the athletes decided they are short of engineers, they have Azusa and Isoriki from the 2nd year, but few 3rd years to choose from. Mayumi asks Suzune, but she declines, citing she lacks the skill. Tatsuya tries to leave.
こんなところで立ち話してちゃ他の人の邪魔だし、中に入ろっか。
ええ。
こんな美少女と肩寄せ合ってお話ししてるっていうのに、全然手を出す素振りもないと思ったら、ごめんね、お姉さん子供体型で。
しませんよ。
え、じゃあカメラや人目がなかったら？
もちろん、先輩のスウェゼンなら遠慮なくご馳走になります。
With this, we end our video. Stay tuned for the next part and watch our other quality contents. Stay safe. Bye.